Hey everybody, it's Chancellor D. Welcome to another episode of the Blerdlines podcast. I'm with the Wakandan Princess.
Hi.
And we are doing an episode about Black Panther. We saw it a few days ago, and it's our quick recap and spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the movie, this is spoiler filled, so please enjoy the episode and go see the movie.
Bye.
We saw Black Panther on Friday.
Yeah, we did.
Yes. Fantastic movie.
Fantastic is not the word to describe that movie.
Okay, so the plane landed in Wakanda at sometime in the afternoon.
2:42 p.m.
And the movie it started like 2:40 something, and we were off from a wild ride from the beginning.
Yeah, that beginning gave us the timeline. It fixed kind of where we were confused at after Civil War.
Yeah, because we weren't sure was this going to be after Spider-Man: Homecoming or not, but it's a week later.
So that means everything that happened after Homecoming had to be the week after, well, the week of Civil War. From the time Tony dropped him off to that weekend. That was 1 week. So T'Challa had a week after.
Oh, wait a minute. Homecoming, it's like it had been like 6 months since the fight.
It skips.
It skipped.
Yeah.
Because Homecoming starts out in 2012 after the first Avengers movie with the
task force comes in and they clean out everything.
Right. And then it jumps to present day, which is like...
No, it jumps to when Tony kicks him out the car.
Right. And so we know Civil War happened in 2017, right?
Yeah. And Homecoming's usually in the fall, so that had to have been...
It was in the fall, so it was like 6 months or something later.
Yeah.
But Black Panther is like a week after T'Challa's death.
Yeah.
And from this point forward, if you haven't seen the movie, everything else, it's all spoiler filled stuff. Which much do we want to give away spoilers?
At this point.
People are saying it. So, next question. What are those? Okay.
No.
No.
You skipped too far into the movie.
I know, but that's my question of the day. But you are the world-renowned Black Panther fan that I know.
Yes.
So, tell us, our listeners, about why is Black Panther in the lineage of the character your favorite?
This movie showcased everything that the books, the graphic novels, comic books, even the animated TV show displayed. Wakanda is not a savage land that everybody thinks it is. We saw technology that we're never going to see. We also saw politics at its finest.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah. I was letting you continue.
And of course you see strong female characters, something Marvel doesn't display that often.
No. They either give you maybe a couple heroines or spy type characters or villainous characters, but not in the portrayal in Black Panther.
Black Panther gave you a female general, a female scientist that basically made Wakanda.
A queen.
A queen that took charge. And a...
His
assassin. Well, his spy.
The ex.
Yeah. Yeah, she was the strongest. She was his counterpart that tried to guide him.
Exactly. Or should we just go ahead and just talk it all out? Like,
What?
Because that was the relationship there between the two of them.
They go back and forth.
Yes.
She was strong-minded. She wanted Wakanda to help the world, not just send people out to survey the world.
Right. And surveying the world, that's kind of where the movie took place from the beginning, after a really nice monologue in the beginning of when the vibranium...
That beginning, the beginning where we see them in Oakland.
Right. In 1992.
Yeah.
Was that we had the beginning, which showed the asteroid of vibranium?
Yeah.
Was that T'Chaka talking to T'Challa?
No, that was actually there was someone discussing the lineage of the Black Panther and how the Wakanda was formed.
Yeah, I was wondering who was talking to a child. I was just kind of curious about that part.
Yeah. There was another Simba Mufasa moment.
Yes. But, we started in Oakland, and we find out that it's the king's brother.
That sold out Wakanda.
Yes, to the highest bidder.
And it had to be a British white guy.
Yes. Who...
likes rap.
Who... Ulysses Claw. Who, if you did not see Age of Ultron, or if you did, remember, Ultron yanked off his arm.
So anything prior to, was that 2014?
Yeah, that was 14, 15, somewhere in there.
So, 1992, he's walking around with both of his arms, but he's still just as deadly.
Right. And because he knew that Wakanda had vibranium, and he went in, after he went to the country and made it out, but they branded him.
Yeah.
So,
the question is, somebody let him into the country with all the technology that they had, plus they have a whole army on the border. There's no possible way he got in and out without help.
He had help, and we believe it was help from the king's brother.
His brother gave him the location. He never got him into Wakanda.
So maybe that could be a movie later, like Black Panther 2.
I don't think they're going to go flashback to that again. There'll be...
No, but it could show a traitor in their midst as someone that's still there.
Yeah.
And it could be that story.
Yeah.
Unless it was someone from like the other tribe.
Yeah, it could have been.
Could have been someone that had a grudge against the Wakandans.
Yeah. But we'll never really know that story. Unless you read the comic books, because it is in there.
Yeah, it's in the comics. Like, you said there's a prelude to Infinity War, which when we'll get to the whole...
that
covers
the end of the movie.
In the movie. But what I want to know is, you've been a long-time fan of Black Panther.
Yes.
So, reading the comics versus seeing this portrayal, how did that go for you?
It's interesting because they took elements from the actual Black Panther comics and added in with the newer comics called, I actually have it, what is it? The King of Wakanda? No, The World of Wakanda, which still is about Black Panther, and it gives you a more in-depth look at Wakandan society, their politics, really, because T'Challa has a council from all of the tribes. They bicker just like any Congress all day, every day. They go to war amongst each other all the time.
Mm-hmm. And we did see how when Killmonger showed up, how one side said, well, we're going to side with him because that's just what it is.
But that, they went by tradition.
They went by, tradition.
Tradition, there is, you have to fight the heir to the throne because technically, if he's not a warrior and can't protect himself without the Black Panther juice, as you want to call it,
yes,
then he's out.
Right, but actor who was in Get Out, his tribe that he was with.
He was border.
He was the Border Patrol.
Oh.
But do you think it's because you think he sided with Killmonger because Killmonger did what T'Challa
couldn't do,
so he saw him as a stronger leader?
Yes. He saw him as a military leader. He didn't see him as a potential threat coming into the country. All he saw was someone of royal blood was still out in America, still learn their ways, able to bring that back to Wakanda, teach us how to destroy our enemies from within,
Mm-hmm.
and then protect, rule the world with the face of Wakanda.
But do you think that would have been good if they had done that? I mean, I know they couldn't. They really couldn't do that in the movie, but if they had succeeded,
if they had a successful coup, that was spilled into the Infinity Wars.
right?
That would have upset the balance of the Marvel universe.
It would have.
That balance would have shifted to nothing but, in this instance, African images being displayed around the world.
True.
No diversity. Wakanda would have ruled everywhere.
And they wouldn't go for that.
And the world wouldn't go for that.
No. But even with, if let's just say one of those like ships carrying weapons had left.
You have enough weapons to build a small army.
Right.
Not build a world army. That army, even though you have Wakandan technology, can still be destroyed.
Right. I mean, because we did see with the use of essentially the hover train, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But it would nullify the effects of the vibranium because of the sound waves.
Yep.
So.
But it would take the world longer to figure out how to stop that technology.
Sure.
The only person smart enough to even try to stop it was Tony Stark.
And he would try.
Yeah.
He would try his hardest.
Well, Bruce is not there to help him because Bruce is floating in space.
Yep, he's with the Asgardians who are about to get a rude awakening on their front door.
Yep. So.
But given the scene that we saw of Infinity War with Winter Soldier, Captain America, Black Panther, Dormilaje,
Yeah.
the other warriors, and Hulk in the background, and Black Widow, that we know we're coming back to Wakanda. We know. So who's to assume? I know we're jumping around here, but who's to assume that the last Infinity Stone is in Wakanda? We just didn't see it yet.
I still think it's there. Or they're protecting somebody that has it.
This is the Soul Stone, right? Yeah, because the Mind Stone's with Vision.
Well, you think it's in that? It could be a part of some Wakandan artifacts.
It could be. I mean, I think you were the one that told me about the idea that it could be in Heimdall's armor.
Yeah.
And how come he could see people's souls? He could find them. Because he's using the stone. We just say that could be a possibility. Or it could be in a Wakandan artifact. Like, we saw the artifacts in the museum in Black Panther. It could be embedded in one of those.
Huh.
So there's a lot we could say about the future. But right now we're talking about Black Panther.
Let's talk about his sister.
Yeah, his sister. Yes. With the, what are those? But, yes. But I think she was probably one of the best additions to the MCU. Sure.
Yes, she's going to be a great character to see develop over the next few movies, especially if she's helping her brother.
Mm-hmm.
She also, in the comic books, does become Black Panther.
Right.
So.
And when we were in her lab and we saw the suits, did we actually see her suit?
We saw two suits. Remember, as long as you put on the necklace, the suit will form to your body.
So she
could essentially
have made one herself.
Yes.
Because you think about it, when she took the necklace, you think it could have been like a foreshadowing of like, I was going to wear it if we didn't find your body. I mean, she had it for safekeeping, I believe. but she could have put it on herself.
Mm-hmm.
And then that kind of is like a foreshadowing moment going back to like Iron Man 1 when Rhodey looks at the War Machine suit and says, next time. But that's kind of that foreshadowing. Right?
Yeah. And that could be a foreshadowing that Marvel's next set of movies will be female oriented.
Mm-hmm. And, but then the other next character, Lupita Nyong'o's character.
Nakia?
Nakia, yes.
Showing a female spy, almost James Bondish.
Yes, because I guess at first when they were trying to find her, I was wondering was she kidnapped or something, but realized she was on a mission.
Yeah.
And they kind of just.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason they were finding her is because his dad was dead and she had to come home.
And that was the only reason. I mean, they knew what she was doing, but as the audience, we didn't know at first. But it was good to see that, we have strong people of color, women characters, across the board, whether they were heroes or villains, they were strong.
Yeah.
And the Royal Guard.
They're badass.
Yes. Still, like that casino scene, it's like, how did you give yourself away with that staff?
She didn't really give herself away with the staff because the staff didn't come out until they realized who she was. So Claw's men know who she was. She's the general of his army.
Because they kept looking at her and they're like, oh, we know who she is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know it's for plot devices, the sake of plot device, but having, Ross there was just like, okay.
Yeah.
It worked.
Ross is a character I think they need to develop more. We saw him in Civil War, and he really was not.
But he didn't really do much until the end of the movie when they got
that jackass. Baron.
No, not Zemo. That's Zemo.
Yeah.
Because Strucker was killed by Ultron. Yeah, Zemo. Which they could have still done the better Zemo of the World War II Zemo, but that's another story.
Maybe next time.
Maybe for Captain America 4. Yes. Maybe.
We're not getting a Captain America 4 with Chris Evans.
It will be Winter Soldier with Falcon.
My money is on Winter Soldier since we already have a black lead.
Yeah. We'll get Falcon at some point. If Anthony Mackie wants to do it.
He does. He's been pushing for that.
For the Cap.
Yeah, actually, he wanted to be Black Panther. I was like, put him in the bird suit.
Okay. But even showing what I did appreciate, the council, showing people of all different types, their body types, everything.
The council represented a lot of the tribes and nations that you see in Africa.
Yes. So
you're seeing an image that we don't see that often. We see images of Africa where there are starving people, where there are wars going on, women being kidnapped and taken away. That's all that we see. This gives you a united nation of Africans.
Exactly. I mean, even thinking back to and again, if you hadn't seen the movie, you're still listening. If you don't want a post-credit scene spoiler, stop now. But you're still here. So the first post-credit scene with
he's
thinking of a council.
Mm-hmm.
We see a United Nations.
Yes, he's at the United Nations, and he gives the speech that Wakanda is going to share their resources with the world. This starts with his going back to Oakland to basically create an outreach program in this area where his uncle was killed by his father,
right? Where
his cousin became his villain,
right? And he bought the neighborhood.
Yeah, and his sister's gonna
do the technology outreach.
Yep.
Back to that council meeting, that councilman said something interesting. He said, "What could a bunch of farmers do to help us?" And because they kept themselves secret so long,
he did. That means that particular councilman doesn't know.
He doesn't know
that the world around him has advanced so much that they're not just farmers. They
Right.
are.
But would this mean they they take down that invisible shield?
I don't think they're going to do that.
No.
They're not going to do that. They never would do that because of the fact, as his sister colonists would come in and strip them of everything.
And as she called Ross, she said, "Don't touch anything, colonizer." So, yeah.
They can share with the world what they know in their resources, but they don't have to let their guard down.
True. But then come Infinity War, when the world is turned upside down, where the Avengers do go to Wakanda, because they went to Wakanda in Age of Ultron, though.
They were in a Wakanda. It said Wakanda, and I'm thinking that is one of the
borderline cities.
Yeah, one of the borderline cities that you can get to because it was near a river.
Yeah.
That, if you thought about, that's where Claw was.
Mm-hmm.
So where that could be is one of the many images they broadcast to the world of Wakanda.
That's true, because they showed the footage of the Hulkbuster fight.
Yeah.
And
It's a third world country where everyone's poor.
And weren't they in Wakanda in Civil War when Scarlet Witch couldn't stop the bomb? No, it was an embassy building from Wakanda.
That wasn't Wakanda. Wakandan spies were there. That was in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, they were in Africa, but they weren't.
Zambia, one of the.
But they were. It was the building. It was a Wakandan embassy building, right?
It was a lab, but it wasn't a Wakandan. Wakandan soldiers were there, and they were they were in that building for a meeting.
That's right, and that's when T'Chaka came to represent his people
and forced the signing of the Accords.
Yeah,
which was not mentioned in this movie, but I do believe Black Panther never signed the Accords.
He didn't. He just sided with Tony so he can go after Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're it's. I like it. So what was something that you enjoyed about the movie?
I did enjoy the aspect of, and then this is a topic that's been going on since the movie came out, the distinct between an African American and a true African.
Mm-hmm.
As an African American, we feel as if our people in Africa left us here with nothing. We can't survive without the knowledge that they had. And that's displayed between two cousins.
Right. So do you think by making them family was a good thing?
Yes, it does, to display that element between the two. But the hatred that they gave one was so deep, they could never come from it.
Do you think that was purposely done, or was it overdone?
It wasn't overly done, because anyone that has attended a historically Black college has seen the differences between how the Africans are, how the Caribbeans are, how the African Americans are towards each other.
Mm-hmm.
We only work together because we're in an environment. Outside of that, we disperse into our own little groups.
It always does. I mean, think about families in general. You know, they talk like family reunions, for example. You come with your group, your core cluster that you always hang around. And when you're at reunions, you sit with the same people. Yes, you're going to socialize and mingle with the others around you. However, when it's time to eat, you can go sit with the people that you're always with. And it shouldn't always be that way.
Yeah.
But I think the movie was trying to say, we can't always be divisive. But it was showing how Eric's character was, he said, you all sit here comfortable on your throne where we're struggling out here. I mean, that was a powerful line.
Yeah, but this is the question. You, as an Eric, were a top military operative.
Yeah.
You were not struggling. What were you doing for your people back home why you were killing.
Nothing. It was all personal for him.
Yeah.
It was a personal vendetta because
T'Chaka killed his father, and for vengeance, he wanted to strip Wakanda of everything that they know.
all because of a personal vendetta.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that if he had lived, I mean, they could still save him, I guess. But if he had lived, I mean, he got to see the Wakandan sunset. But if he had kept him alive, do you think he would have, like, tried to help out later, or...
I think he still would try.
Still would have tried to kill them?
Yeah, even though he knows his cousin was trying to save him. He did realize that, and he acknowledged that.
Mm-hmm.
But because he's a soldier first and a basically human second, he was able to know my crimes are worth either death or imprisonment for the rest of my life. That's something he's taught as an African American male that would happen.
And you think about, the name synonymous with Black Panther, the Black Panther movement.
Yes.
It kind of showed you the
Eric was the representation of the Black Panther movement.
That was militant.
That their Black Panther movement wasn't militant.
Well, that's the image. That's the image that people think.
That's the image that the media has given.
But
Eric is a representation of every part of America's history.
Right.
Black, white, Hispanic, Asian. He's a representation of, hey, our people are here. We need help. You're not helping us because you're the government.
Mm-hmm.
That's all embodied in him. His hatred towards his country.
Right. And you're right. The Black Panther movement was not militant. It's just that's how society thought it to be. So, this movie, you could look at it twofold. The Black Panther character that we all know and love, and the Black Panther movement, which people love, but it also portrayed the societal perspective. So the movie was very deeper than what a lot of people were going to think it was.
And you're going to have to watch it a few times to get all of the hidden meanings.
Yes. I mean, I know we can't do the movie justice in this short podcast. No,
but we do got hit on one other thing.
What?
That last end scene credit.
Yes. I'll give you the honors.
So, we see Shara going into the jungles of Wakanda, and we see 3 little huts. Some kids are outside trying to wake up somebody. We don't know who it is at first. And all they keep saying when he does come out is white wolf, white wolf.
And they run off saying it.
And then the cameras turn, and it is our favorite
Manchurian candidate.
as the man that fell off a cliff in Captain America.
The first Avenger.
Bucky. Bucky looks well.
He looked like he was well rested. He didn't have those stress veins or anything. He was rested.
He looked at peace.
He was happy.
He's still armless.
Right.
But he's at peace. So that means they cured him of his issues.
The issues and the mind control
of Hydra.
So makes you wonder how long had he been cured, or how long did they keep him in storage and then take him out?
Well, if it's his sister, this is supposed to be a week after the death of his father, their father, and
because they know Bucky didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's no reason because they were.
It's been about 3 weeks. We'll just say 3 weeks at this point.
Okay.
So with him being awake and knowing what to do, what's going on, the question is, in the timeline, at this end scene credit, how far until Infinity War starts?
Exactly. I think that's the point we are now, because if I remember correctly, this was supposed to have come out in 2017.
Yes, this was supposed to come out right after
Civil War.
Civil War, and then we would have had Spider-Man: Homecoming right after that.
It would have been now, right?
Spider-Man: Homecoming would have came out
after
before Thor Ragnarok, so it still would have came out roughly the same time. It would have been February, July, November.
So Thor Ragnarok should have come out now.
Thor Ragnarok should have been the very last movie.
Because given their post-end credit scene, that's your last
Thanos' appearance.
Right.
But being that we see Bucky, this could be the fact that he's about to get another arm. And
vibranium arm.
And with the stars on it.
Yeah.
Hinting to he's about to be the next Captain America.
That's true. Because I think T'Challa was doing this to thank Steve. Right.
Give this man a Steve. I am very proud of the Black Panther movie and the acceptance of it in today's climate.
Yes, especially where the climate is right now, especially in America. This movie couldn't come out at a perfect time. And for it to come out in Black History Month. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you can.
Well,
I mean, you had all these people doing like church groups and Greek organizations having their screenings and going, and you have all these people a lot of people have never seen a Marvel movie a day in their life. And
the only reason they were going because it's the Black Panther, and there are a lot of assumptions that it's about the Black Panther movement, it's about this, it's about that, it's anti-American. That's not true. It's actually only about Black culture. And every line of that movie you can pull from everyday life.
Exactly.
And Kendrick Lamar did a very good soundtrack.
Yes. And I need to finish listening to the whole thing.
You listened to it 2 days ago.
I know, but they hear all the songs.
He played all the songs.
Oh, yeah, they do. But it's always the snippets, the parts they can play. But what I do like, the scene was how, given, I know we all have our differences on life and everything, but how people came together to support this movie. Yes, you had some people who were like, this movie, we should take some percentage of the sales of the movie and give it back to the community. But it makes the argument of like, where were you doing this during Hidden Figures? Where were you doing this during Birth of a Nation? And all these other movies, you didn't say anything about that. But because this movie is going to make billions or billions, they're going to say we need to make money. But where were you during these other
Hidden
movies?
Figures made almost the same amount in ticket sales across the board. That movie had 3 females.
Yes.
Nobody said anything. Nobody's going to say anything because a lot of people don't know who actually directed this movie. It was African Americans who did this whole movie. It has nobody else in this movie. That is the only reason why in my opinion, stop always thinking, we do something successful. Everybody deserves a handout from that success.
And you don't. Just because there's something that's successful doesn't mean you deserve it. Do it yourself.
The stars from this movie took their own personal money to open up theaters for kids to see this.
Thank you.
That's giving back to the community.
And it gives hope. I mean, you can have that one child sing. It's like, yes, it's a representation matters. It's like, that person looks like me. That character looks like me.
End of the movie. Example, that kid who stayed back after all the other ones ran to the plane.
Yeah.
He stood back and he thought, like, cool, maybe I can do something like that.
And he says, is that yours? He's like, who are you? He says, who are you? And that's the good thing. It's like, okay, so you're a person of stature. And I did like, if I remember correctly with that scene, it showed the perspective from the kid looking up at him, which put the child in power. It's showing like the idolization shift, I think.
Yeah, because now he's curious about why this little kid is interested in him.
So it put the power in the kid's hand, but then also put it back in his.
Yeah.
So it was like back and forth. And I would have loved to have seen was a shot of them looking at each other. That would have been a good shot. But it did showcase the whole power balance.
Yeah.
Between
an adult and a child.
And a child.
A curious child. So.
Yes. Because the other kids were like,
we're going to sell this for scrap.
Sell, and then Sherry's like, I wouldn't touch that already. But this was a child that's like, I want to do something over here. I can tell this is yours, so what's this? But overall, I enjoyed the movie.
I'm going to go see it again.
Yeah, I know you are. But I'm just happy I went with you.
Thank you.
It was wonderful. But if you haven't seen Black Panther, you're still listening to this episode.
You pretty much just watched the whole movie.
You watched the whole movie. I mean, there were more things that we didn't say or anything in there. Because it's hearing about it versus seeing it's a different thing.
Wakanda is a beautiful place, and I wish it existed because I would not be here.
No, you would. Or you would just tell me about it.
Yeah.
That's not cool, man. You're right. But it's worth seeing. It's worth seeing, and that's all I can say. It's worth seeing, and definitely when it comes out on DVD and Blu-ray, digital, however you want to consume your media, buy it, because whether you believe in buying the on the corner or going to Red Box, whatever, these sales, whether it's actual ticket sales going to the theater and home sales, they help showcase
to make a sequel.
And a lot of people said, like your comment a moment ago about who makes things. A lot of people were saying, well, it's Disney. But yes, Disney has, because they own Marvel, but that has nothing to do with it.
That doesn't go with who they hired to make movies that represent us.
Right. So people, take your time I implore you to take your time and do your research, because you will find that there are people in positions that look like you, have your same ideas.
ABC is president is the African American woman.
But do people know that? That's the question.
Not everybody knows that.
So we have to get people to think, instead of just seeing a name, to actually research the faces behind the name. But any last thoughts on Black Panther before we have to get back on the plane out of Wakanda?
I loved it. I will always be a Wakandan at heart.
Well, thanks for joining me on the show.
You're welcome.